Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make portobello mushroom steaks with mashed potatoes and gravy and some lemon garlic broccolini. So for this recipe, all you'll need is some portobello caps, different herbs and spices, the juice of 2 lemons, some gold potatoes, balsamic vinegar, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, some olive oil if you feel like you need it, and some baby broccoli. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start off by peeling some gold potatoes. You can use any kind of potatoes that you want, really. My favorite to use are gold or russet. I personally like the taste of those better than sweet potatoes or any other potato, but it is totally up to you. Obviously, if you know me, you know that I do not discriminate against potatoes because, hello, potatoes are bae. Duh, everybody knows that. But anyways, so yeah, you are going to want to peel a couple of potatoes, however many you feel like you will need. I used about 6. And then once you are done peeling your potatoes, you're going to want to just cut them into chunks. It doesn't really matter how big they are. I usually quarter my potatoes or just do, whatever size large chunks you feel would be best. They're all going to go in the same boiling water, so you just want to make sure that they cook evenly. And the next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you rinse your potatoes. Guys, it's very important to rinse your potatoes since they are grown underground. And even though you did peel them, there's still going to be some dirt left over. So definitely always rinse your potatoes before you throw them in the pot, just to make sure that everything is off of them. It's good to even rinse your vegetables anyways, so yeah, just make sure that you do this. After rinsing your potatoes, you're going to want to fill up a pot with water. I just use a small pot, obviously, because I don't cook very much food at one time. So if I use a bigger one, I'll end up thinking that I should be cooking more food when obviously I can't eat that much, so there's no need for that. So I just use a pretty small pot and fill it about halfway or 3/4 full of water. And once you've got your pot all filled with water, just transfer it from the sink to the stove and put it on a high heat so that it will come to a boil. Once your water is boiling, you can go ahead and transfer the potatoes to the pot. A lot of people like to do this before the water is boiling, but I prefer to do it after. Just be careful that you don't burn your. So once the potatoes are done cooking, you just want to transfer them to a strainer and make sure that all of the water is out of them. And once you've done that, go ahead and transfer them back to the pot. And the next thing that we are going to do is add some plant-based milk. So this can be any kind of plant-based milk that you want. I use soy because I like the flavor of it. I didn't really measure here. You can probably use a half a cup to a full cup depending on how creamy or thin you want your potatoes to be. And the next thing that we're going to add in is going to be just some black pepper. I love black pepper in mashed potatoes, so I usually add a lot. And after this, we're just going to go ahead and add in some salt. I always add in salt after I'm done cooking, just because whenever you're cooking, if you add it in at the same time, it will just dissipate out and you'll end up eating more sodium. And then next we are going to do some garlic, because what are mashed potatoes without garlic? And then we're just going to go ahead and mash these babies up and just mash them up until they are creamy and delicious and the consistency that you like. And once you are done mashing, if you feel like you need some more soy milk, just like I did here, go ahead and just feel free to add some, or you can add water. You don't have to add plant milk, but I find that it makes it really creamy and delicious. The next thing that we're going to do is chop up some chives. I love using herbs in my potatoes. It gives a really fresh feel to the potatoes. So I usually chop up about a head of chives, or sometimes just a half depending. And I will normally add some parsley in there, but all I had today was chives. So go ahead and just add them to the potatoes and give them a good stir to make sure that they are all evenly incorporated. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to our gravy mix. This is just a regular brown vegan gravy. So you're going to put this in a saucepan with 2 cups of water and bring it to a medium boil. So once it starts boiling, after you stir it up, you're going to go ahead and turn down the heat. So it should look like this whenever you want to turn down the heat. So at this point, turn it down to medium and let it simmer. And the next thing that we will do is cut up our broccoli, of course, after rinsing it, and throw it in the pan with some olive oil and some lemon juice, of course. I use 1 to 2 juice lemons, just depending on how much I want. Here I used 2, and I added some black pepper and some delicious garlic powder, of course, because I put that on everything. Some Mediterranean sea salt. And last but not least, to go ahead and stir it up to make sure that it is all evenly incorporated, and just let that steam. Once it is done, it should look just like this, just a little bit crispy on the edges, but nothing crazy. So the next thing that we are going to do is prepare our mushroom steaks. So go ahead and just cut off the stem after you remove them from the package and put them in a large mixing bowl. Next thing that we're going to do is add some Worcestershire sauce to the bowl. Next, go ahead and add some balsamic vinegar. After that, you are going to want to add some garlic powder, and then followed by some sea salt and black pepper. Then you'll just want to rub it all around, get it all into the mushroom, make sure that it's evenly coated and seasoned, and then pop out your baking tray or baking container, whatever you want to call it, and throw some aluminum foil or some parchment paper in there, and plop in your mushrooms. Make sure that they are in there correctly, and put them into the oven. I normally cook these on about 425 degrees Fahrenheit and leave them in for about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on how you like them to be cooked. And then once they are done being cooked, go ahead and take them out and check them, make sure that they are to your liking, and be sure to admire them for a second because these babies are delicious. And go ahead and plate them up with your mashed potatoes, your lemon broccoli, and your delicious portobello mushroom steak. Look at how bomb that looks. Oh my gosh, guys. Topping it with that gravy. Ugh, that gravy is so good, and such good ingredients, and so fast and quick to make, and just, it makes this whole thing just so good. And this is the finished product. Guys, this is one of my favorite meals, hands down. I love making this meal. It is one of the best steaks that I've ever made, and it's completely plant-based. No animals were harmed in the making of these delicious beefy portobello mushroom steaks. But I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!